In the past couple of years, I've seen a trend developing that phones don't really stand out. They're the very same design, and they copy over designs from last year, they copy over designs from other manufacturers, and honestly, phones have become so repetitive that you really can't tell one apart from the other unless you're a really smart person or you really do enjoy tech and know each and every phone out there. There's a lot of devices that really do just, they look so similar to each other that there's no individuality left in any of these devices. They don't feel like they're special anymore. They just feel like another one amongst the crowd. And I think that in a way that's good, but I also feel like for people who like to stand out a little bit more, who want to be a little bit more individualistic, that's not good because they really don't have any other options. However, in 2017, Essential Phone fixed that. The Essential Phone has been a very interesting phone, to say the least, and it came out in the midst of all these new budget phones, and it came out at $700. Now, at $700, nobody really felt that this phone was worth that price point, and Essential listened. They dropped the price to $500, and they continue to bring out new colors and variants as time is going on, and that's really helping them stay in the news. It's helping them stay relevant. And I very heavily considered not reviewing this phone, but then after that price drop, it kind of just hit me that now I have to, because it's competing dead against the budget hero, the OnePlus 5T, and I really needed to know which of these two phones is better. So this video is going to be an overview of what I love about this phone and what I think are the positive points about this phone and why you should be interested in buying this phone. So let me start off with number one, the build quality. The build quality on this phone is something so special. I haven't seen it in a long time, and the only phone that comes close to it, in my opinion, is the iPhone X, which is double the price of this. So the Essential Phone is built using materials such as ceramic, titanium, and it really does make the phone feel like a very expensive piece of hardware. It doesn't feel cheap in any way. It feels actually twice the price, exactly the way I would describe the iPhone X. And the iPhone X and Essential Phone, when you put them side by side, honestly, I think that the Essential Phone looks a little bit more premium because of the way that the ceramic, the titanium is used throughout this device. It just really stands out. And the build quality can be felt. The phone doesn't feel creaky, doesn't feel like it's fragile and it'll break. But I'm not sure how drops are going to perform on this phone, but just having it in your hand, it doesn't feel like a phone that's going to bend or a phone that will start to, lose color or chip away or something like that. It does feel sturdy, and that's a very good thing. And I'm so impressed that Essential, as the company, was able to pull this off while keeping the price at a lower bracket. And it really does impress me that a company is still trying to make phones look a little bit more unique and a premium feeling. So moving on into number two, the display of this phone is just a beauty. The display on this phone is a 5.7-inch 1312 into 2560 pixel QHD LCD display. So it's not an AMOLED. However, when comparing it to the OnePlus 5T, which has an AMOLED screen that's only 1080p, I think that I choose the OnePlus 5T because this phone's display looks so much more sharper. And I know that a lot of people will say that you can't tell the difference between 1080p and QHD. That's not true. I've been using phones with more than 1080p for mostly about a year now, and I can clearly tell the difference. And the OnePlus just doesn't look as good. So when it comes to it at the end of the day, I think that the higher pixel count really does feel a bit better, and I would take this over the OnePlus's display. Not to mention that this phone has one of the highest PPIs on any phone out there right now. It has a 504 pixel per inch on this display, and it really does make images and photos look very sharp. And I've had a lot of people tell me that they really are impressed by the way this display looks, and I'm guessing that it's actually the notch and everything that does the whole thing, but this display really does stand out from everything else out there on other phones. And continuing on to standing out, number three is this phone stands out so much. So I use a lot of phones and I change a lot of phones because I'm comparing them, making videos on them, reviewing them. So not a lot of people notice I do this. They don't very much care about what phone I'm carrying, and only very few people realize that I've changed phones. And I actually prefer that because it lets me stay under the radar. However, when I started using this phone, oh my God, I had almost everyone I knew come up to me and say, wow, what is this? Let me look at it. And everybody was just impressed with it. Anybody that sees this phone out in public, they are curious. They want to know what it is, how much it costs, why it's like, how is this design even possible? And I think that is a very cool thing about this phone because no other phone today will stand out like this. I've been using the iPhone 10 for 3 or 4 months, and honestly, nobody cares about it. However, this phone, half the price, it has so many people crazy about it, and I've had so many people just talk to me out of the random to talk about this phone. And that really is a cool factor for it, because a lot of people who want to stand out, who enjoy being a little bit more show-offish, and who like the unique individuality of something, are really going to like this phone. And I would really recommend it to those people as well, because this phone definitely stands out, and it really does make you feel special. Moving on into number 4, modularity. So this phone has these 2 little magnetic pins right next to the camera, which allows you to connect accessories to it to use with the phone. Now, right now, there's only one accessory, which is the 360 camera that Essential does sell themselves. And while the 360 camera itself isn't something too great to talk about, the idea of keeping a phone modular is very impressive to me, because there's a lot more things you could do with this down the road. And Moto has been trying to make modularity a thing for a while, and they just haven't been able to. I'm hoping that Essential can do something about it. Maybe, make accessories that aren't ridiculously priced like Moto did. And the 360 camera has been quite popular, and I've seen a lot of people make reviews on it. However, I decided to not go with it because there's nothing really I could do with that camera except show it off maybe in a video or two. So I didn't get that, but I'm still impressed that the Essential, the creators over at Essential put this in, and I hope that they continue doing something like this to improve modularity on phones as we move forward into 2018. So number 5, before I get into this, let me explain how this company was started. So the founder of this company is Andy Rubin. Andy Rubin was the senior vice president at Google, and he oversaw the development of Android. So the guy who basically created and oversaw the development of Android has made this phone. And you can tell just by the way the phone is, it has pure stock Android. Nothing, no bloatware, no crap, no nothing. It's amazing. So this phone has a very clean, neat look, and that is something very commendable. I hear a lot of people complaining that they don't like skins on their phone, that they don't like this bloatware, they don't like that. And this phone, Essential, the creators, they've listened. They give you nothing. Even on their website, they're very clear that we don't provide any junk on our phone. We think that you shouldn't have to deal with that, and I'm very impressed. And the phone really does look good. The software is excellent. The one thing that I am a little bit concerned about the software, I will talk about in the other video where I will tell you the negatives about this phone, so do stay around for that. I'll have a link around here somewhere for you guys to see that. But overall, I think that the software is an excellent touch, and it really does make this phone feel a lot more accessible since it's $500. And this phone being $500, it competes dead against the OnePlus 5T, which has often been cited as being a very almost close to stock Android experience. However, this is complete stock Android, so that's very cool to me. And anybody who likes stock Android should definitely consider this phone if you're not into getting the Pixel 2. And the last thing, continuing on to the developers and the creators of this company. The creators of this company are basically like a community. They really do listen to people. They're very active on Reddit. They monitor all Reddit threads. They have their own community forum. And having these community forums is nothing new. OnePlus has had it for a long time. Whenever I've been on the OnePlus forum as of recent, I've seen just a lot of fanboys who keep praising everything. And if anybody does point something out, they're very quick to start berating them. However, Essential as a community is still very young and very mature, to be honest. There's creators and the users are very mature. They understand what's going on, and they provide very valuable feedback to the company, which they do take very quickly. I've seen so many updates and issues solved with this. They've lowered the price listening to the people because they understood that $700 was a bit too much for this phone. And that's something that I'm very impressed by. I hope that companies kind of shift towards this customer-facing responses instead of having a more corporate feel. So I do like that about Essential as a brand itself, and I like that this phone has so much support behind it, not just from the developers but from users as well. So definitely something to like about this phone. So that wraps up the things I love about the Essential phone. This is a very good phone. It has a lot of cool things about it, and it definitely does stand out. Very unique, and I'm glad that there's still phones coming out today that can individualize, that can stand out from others from a sea of just very weirdly similar phones. The Essential phone does have its drawbacks, but I'll talk about that in another video. As I said before, I'll have the link down in the description below so you guys can watch that. And I'll be making a lot more content with this phone, so let me know if you guys want to see anything in particular down in the comments below. So be sure to subscribe to the channel for more content on the Essential phone. There's going to be a lot more content coming very soon, so you don't want to miss out. Be sure to hit that bell icon to stay up to date on when I upload. Also, be sure to follow me on social media. I update all the behind the scenes stuff of filming and doing all these tests that I do with these phones, so definitely be sure to check that out. All the links are down in the description below. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.